Hoping we can add all these video clips together as I go, my mind just sort of goes. So, yeah, also, one of the things I sort of picked up on is how many Christians and how many people moved away from their religion belief system because the Bible does not make sense. With the Great Awakening happening now and people, starting to see things and putting stuff out there, um, they've kept certain stuff from us. They've kept certain books out of the Bible. And that is why I feel the Bible doesn't make sense to people. And that is how they've, created religions, and then also how they've caused a lot of people to fall away from their faith, which is what God said. A lot of people will fall away from their faith, which is where we are now. A lot of people, or for a few years now, people has fallen away from their Christianity because, science have proved that stuff doesn't make sense. But it's because all these books and stuff has been left out. And there's a book that they found of Jesus doing a certain sign, and it's all to do with the energies and the frequency and vibration. Those stuff they've kept away from us. They've only kept it for the Illuminati or the Freemasons and the people in higher sort of authority positions, because they control everything. But they've hidden it from the normal person, and you've got access to the same stuff to be as um, as successful as they are, but they've hidden it from us because they want to control the worldly system, and the devil wants to control the worldly system. So he gives them power on earth, but what they don't know is that the devil actually hates us. He hates all human beings. He doesn't, because we are created in the image of God. We are actually as powerful because of how he's created us, but because we are flesh, that's what makes us weak. We should be more spiritual, and the devil knows this, and he hates us. He, like in that book of Adam and Eve, the story of Adam and Eve, that book that's left out, it explains how the devil schemed to not let the human beings take control of the earth, because God gave us the earth and he's already been here after his fall with the fallen angels. So they were roaming on the earth when God created us and when Adam and Eve were kicked out. And but he hated us. He didn't want us to have control over the earth. He still doesn't want us to have control over the earth. So all these things are happening, but there's this great awakening happening now, but people don't call it God and Jesus, and that they'll say it's the universe, and obviously the angels, they do exist, and God uses them to protect us and look after our families and our children, and but they've made it witchcraft, like the story of or in the book of Enoch, the fallen angels have taught humankind weaponry. They've taught them about the metals of the earth, how to use the metals of the earth to make stuff. And that's how we got to dig into the earth and get gold and diamonds and all that stuff. So they taught humankind that's in the time of Noah. And then when things got that bad, where the earth cried out to God because it just couldn't produce anymore, they've just used up all the resources. That is when God did the reset, what they call the reset. But that is the flood. That is when he decided that um, everything is just chaos, and the Nephilim and the giants were eating human beings because the earth couldn't produce food anymore. So they would start eating the humans and stuff, and it was just vile, and God hated that. And the blood cried out to him, like the blood of Abel cried out to him when Cain murdered his brother. And the earth cries out to God. It doesn't have the resources anymore. So that's when the flood happened, and we are pretty much in the same stage now. The earth has to reset because it can't produce anymore. It's known everywhere. Like there's not enough food for all the people. We are overpopulated, global warming, and all these stuff that they come up with to explain why in future there'll not be enough food for us, but the earth just cannot produce anymore. And with the metals that they've just, gold is just this great commodity and stuff, and they just shoot everything up just to trade and have power. It's one country against another, and who's got more power and who's got more dominion and who controls the economy and the money system. So it's all about that. But now they that are up there, the Illuminati and the people higher up in the governments that hide these stuff from us, they know the earth can't produce anymore. They can't, there's no more food for all the people. So they make food out of, apparently McDonald's, out of human beings. And, and they make, they make meat out of, it's all plastic stuff and that, stuff that our bodies, we're not supposed to eat that. That's why COVID comes out. That's why all these stuff comes out, because they want mass destruction. They want a pandemic. They want something like that to happen so that masses die and they can actually control the numbers better. That's why all these stuff happen. It's well, that's my theory at least, but I don't think I'm wrong. I think it's all controlled and they know there's a problem, and it's coming to a point where, with COVID, it didn't kill that many. I think that they want to, now they're bringing out disease X, they're bringing out other diseases, and it's all to create like a pandemic. Like they want masses of people to die in a short period of time. And and war was one of those things that sort of eliminated that problem. So that's also on the cards. And also, it's about control. So who's gonna have, what country's gonna control the economy of the world? So it's all about that. But the earth is crying out. It has to reset. It cannot produce anymore. There has to happen a reset, and that's pretty much where we are now. That's why Jesus said, as in the time of Noah, so will it be at the time of the end. And that's pretty much where we are now. In Revelations, I think for me, we are in chapter 4 to 7. I think we're not at the seventh seal yet. I think that's sort of we are entering the great tribulation now. I think we've got like a 2 or 3 year period now where it's going to be really hard for everybody. And the Christians that overcome and that survive it, they will be in heaven, who John saw with their white robes, that died for Jesus' name, and crying out to Jesus, asking him, when is he going to avenge their death? And then he said, not until the number of them has been reached. So there's a lot of them in heaven waiting for that to happen. And if we overcome, we will be part of that number. And according to my understanding and how I sum it up, we are now going into that tribulation. I think 2 years. I think we're going into a 2 year period where it's going to be really tough. Things are going backwards from now onwards. And if we survive that and the rapture happens and you're a believer and you go up to heaven, and then the Antichrist is going to come, which I'm going to make another clip about that, which I think is Elon Musk. Everybody loves him, and the Bible says the Antichrist is going to come and people's going to love him because he's going to come in and say, this is how I'm going to stop this tribulation period. Everybody's suffering, there's no food, and this is my plan for making it all better, and people's going to love him. The Antichrist, people love him because he's going to come in and save us from this disastrous backwards thing that we are entering now. And people will, just to have some relief, they are going to buy into it. And then I think after that, he's going to come in and people's going to love him. He'll save everybody. And then that 7 year period starts. And then 3.5 years into that, he'll turn and say, okay, no more worshiping God, and now you worship me. And that's where I think we, before the 7 year period, I think we are entering a 2 year period where it's going to go backwards really quick, and we're all going to suffer. And then the Antichrist is going to come in, and people's going to be like, oh, he's going to give us relief. His plan is good, and he'll do whatever because he's going to bring relief, and people will love him. And for 3.5 years, it will go well, and sort of in that system. And then he's going to turn and say, okay, no more. Now you worship me. And that last 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation. So that's how I've sort of summed it up quickly in terms of where we are at now.